Hey guys, Jen, and today we're going to be opening up the front of the body. Yesterday we opened up the back of the body, really got appreciation for those hamstrings to fill, and a lot of times I hear all the time, my psoas is tight, my psoas is tight. Usually you just have to breathe, but I'm going to show you how to stretch out that psoas anyways. So when we walk and we go into position, sometimes we avoid pushing off your back toe and getting that hip extension that you need, which isn't literally a lot. Like this to here isn't a lot of motion, but still people like to turn their foot and they just pivot and rotate instead of extend. So we're gonna practice extending. So what I like to do with this one is I take my foot back and I make sure that I'm on my big toe enough so that my pinky toe is pressing into the floor as well, okay? So it's not a big lunge. I'm not trying to go into crescent pose or anything here, but I'm trying to squeeze my back leg, and now I'm gonna take my tailbone and really tuck it under, okay? So like force that baby under, squeeze that booty so it looks weird. Tuck that tailbone under by pulling your hip bones up toward your ribs. Reach up high to the sky, reach so high that you start to lean, and then come out of it. So it's just a rock, so you start to neurologically get that body to understand how movement should be, how the hips should open, reaching. So again, I'm not even bending much into my front leg. I'm pressing through my back toe. I'm tucking that tailbone under. I'm reaching up high. So if I feel the opening here, you guys should certainly feel the opening. I could do splits. Splits doesn't mean you necessarily have an open psoas. Psoas connects deep into this lower leg, connects in through the hip and up into the back. So that's why we need to reach long and over to get that deep hip flexor stretch. And then you just do 10. Move into it, try the other side. So this starts to teach the body how to move into a normal gait position. Again, reaching up high, tucking that tailbone under, leaning over. I might bend forward a little bit into that leg, and then rocking back and forth. Reaching up. Make sure that back leg stays straight. I was gonna say bent. Make sure it stays straight, okay? So a lot of times people like to bend both legs. Keep that back leg straight so you get that hip extension as it should be. You might be straight up and this is all you do. Totally fine. Be honest with yourself, okay? You don't need to force something just because it looks pretty. That's only for Instagram. This is for your body. Okay, so about 10 on each side. Then we're just gonna experiment with the kneeling one. So I'm gonna take a pillow to have some comfort for my knee. So back onto that right side. I'm gonna keep that back foot tucked under. I'm gonna push and tuck my tailbone under. This is always the most important part of that hip flexor stretch, is really getting that tailbone to tuck under, squeezing that glute, reaching up high, reaching over to the wall, and just gently gliding it forward and breathe. So ideally here, I'd like you to hold for 2 minutes. That's a long time, right? So if you don't, honestly, breathe into it for at least 10 breaths. I know that this isn't a very comfortable position, or maybe you're just holding it here. The most important thing is that you start to breathe and you start to understand, teach the body to understand what it means to go into hip extension so that it knows how to walk again, how to move. Hip extension is really important when we're going into jumps, when we're going into running, when we're going into just everyday walking even, or hikes or stairs or anything like that. You gotta get that hip extension, because when you lack hip extension in the front, we'll go to the other side. When you lack hip extension in the front, you're gonna have less activation in the back. So if the front's too tight and not open and not used to being opening, you're not gonna get that max contraction in the back when you go to extend the hip, or when you're trying to get a booty for squats. So it's really important that you have to understand how to open the hip in order for us to be able to get there even. Okay, so again, I would reach up high. Most important aspect, take that hip bone, pull it up to my rib cage, reach up tall, reach over. I'm gonna reach toward the wall and breathe. At least 10 breaths. If you can tolerate 2 minutes, do 2 minutes and just breathe. That's all this one is. Nice and easy. Okay, So after you've opened up those hip flexors, we're just gonna continue to open them. So I'm gonna go onto my back this time. In yoga, it's called Shavasana. So this is where I'm gonna meditate today. Why? Because we just opened up the hips. So why not continue to open up the hips to feel that elongation? Go ahead and drop the arms along your body and just relax your feet. So this time I don't want you to do anything crazy with the legs. Just let them literally extend out. Feel that stretch that you just got, and most importantly, breathe. So we're always gonna take it back to that breath. It's the same thing that we've been talking about and we're gonna continue to talk about. So as you lay down and as you start to relax and as you start to breathe, I want you to feel that belly. So go ahead and place your hands on your belly this time. And I want you to feel your low rib cage as well. So as you take a deep breath in, feel your hands expand, feel your rib cage expand as well. And breathe out. And then take a hand onto your chest, take a hand onto your belly, and do it again. See what hand raises first. If this hand is going at the same time, then we have a problem. Okay? What you want is majority of the movement to be coming from the belly hand. You don't want this upper chest hand to be moving too much, or else we're putting more tension. It's almost like when someone goes and they scare you, and you get really scared and tense, and your whole body starts to tense into here. That's your body's way of telling you, oh my God, something's happening, we're in danger, and it starts to tense up. But now if you're breathing through here all the time, and you're getting tense, or you're breathing through this upper chest, you're telling your brain you're in danger, you're in danger, you're in danger. You need to be restrictive and tight all the time. No wonder you can't stretch, and these stretches aren't working for you. You need to be able to chill the heck out, okay? So that's why we're just starting to breathe here, using this hands on your belly to really expand. And think about what you just did. You just opened up your front of your hips in order for you to walk. That was just for you to walk. Some people can't even walk. Some people are born without legs, or an accident happened and they don't have legs, or they have legs, they would be perfect, but they're not able to move them. You can. So I encourage you to often get out of your desk, get out of your chair, and move, stretch, open. I'll see you tomorrow.